My name's Chris, and back in 2017, I was working the night shift at a gas station off US 287, about 30 miles outside of Amarillo, Texas. The place was literally in the middle of nowhere. Flat desert, dead silence, and a two-lane highway that just stretched on forever. Night shifts were usually quiet. I'd go hours without seeing a single customer. But one night in late August, something happened, and I still think about it to this day. It was 3:17 a.m. I remember the time exactly. I just looked at the clock while restocking chips by the front counter. The door opened with that usual soft ding. I turned, expecting some trucker looking for coffee. Instead, this guy walks in, probably early 30s, drenched in sweat, shirt sticking to him like he'd been running. His eyes were wide, panicked. He didn't look drunk or high, he looked scared. He walked straight up to me and asked, in this shaky voice, "Do you have a back room? Please, man, just 10 minutes. I told him I couldn't do that. Company policy. No customers allowed in the back, but he didn't argue. He just nodded quickly and asked if he could use the restroom. I pointed him to the back of the store, and he disappeared down the hallway. 5 minutes passed, no sound. I started to get a weird feeling. That kind of knot in your gut tension that tells you something's off. Then I noticed something through the glass doors. A gray Crown Victoria was parked out front. Old model, like early 90s. I hadn't heard it pull in. No headlights, engine off, just sitting there. Inside was a man, still, wearing a ball cap pulled low over his eyes. I couldn't see his face, but I could feel it. He was watching me. Right then, the guy burst out of the restroom. His face was white as a sheet. He looked at me and said, "If anyone asks, you didn't see me." He grabbed a bottle of water, didn't even pay, and bolted out the side door. Took off running behind the building into the desert. The car outside started up, but it didn't drive away. It slowly rolled forward, around the side of the building, in the same direction the guy had run. I don't know why, but I panicked. I locked the doors, killed the store lights, and hid in the back room with my phone in my hand. A couple minutes later, I heard footsteps on the gravel outside, slow, crunching. Then, 2 soft knocks on the back door. That was it. I stayed in the back until my shift ended. When my morning shift coworker arrived, we both went out to check. Around back, there was a narrow path leading into the desert brush. That's where we found it. One sneaker, and farther down, in the dirt, a dried pool of blood. We called the police. They showed up fast, did a full sweep, took my statement, checked the security footage, but everything between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. was just gone. Not glitched, not corrupted, gone. Like it had never been recorded, and here's the part I still can't shake. 2 days later, a local park ranger found a body about 5 miles away, face down in a dry gully. No ID, no wallet, no phone. Face was too damaged to confirm visually, but based on the clothes and physical build, it was him. The cause of death? Blunt force trauma. Multiple injuries consistent with a struggle. Official report, assault by unknown assailant. Case closed, no suspects, no leads. But I know the truth. That man was running from someone, or something. And that night, he didn't run fast enough. I haven't worked another night shift since. And every time I hear that soft ding of a gas station door, I still freeze up for just a second. And in 2019, I was driving solo from Denver to Phoenix for a new job. I was behind the wheel of my old SUV, planning to crash in Santa Fe for the night and continue in the morning. But for some reason, I decided to keep driving. I figured I'd shave a few hours off the next day. It was close to midnight when I started feeling exhausted. That kind of foggy, heavy-eyed tired that creeps in fast. I spotted a glowing sign just off the road, a gas station with a little convenience store still open. No other buildings in sight, just desert and darkness. I pulled in. No other cars in the lot. The place looked old, faded, but functional. Inside, it was quiet. Those harsh, flickering fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Behind the counter was an older guy in a baseball cap, maybe mid-60s. He barely looked up. I gave him a quick, "Hey man," and headed straight for the restroom at the back. And that's where the weirdness started. The second I locked the door behind me, I heard a click. Not from the lock I turned, but something deeper, like another bolt sliding into place. It didn't sound like it came from my side. The bathroom was tiny, dimly lit, and the mirror was cracked. I washed my hands and went to open the door. It didn't budge. I jiggled the handle. Nothing. I knocked, soft at first, then louder. Silence, and then footsteps, slow, just outside the door. Then the sound of nails scratching lightly on wood. I backed away and grabbed my phone. No signal. Figures. After a full minute of dead silence, I heard something else. A distant click, like another door closing. Then muffled voices. I couldn't make out what they were saying. Suddenly, the door unlocked. No one said anything. No one was there. It just clicked and swung open a crack. I stepped out carefully. The store was empty, completely. The cashier was gone. The counter was unmanned. The cash drawer was open. A bottle of water lay spilled on the tile. No sound, no movement. I made my way to the front door and found it locked from the outside. My chest tightened. I spun around, and that's when I saw him. A man stood outside the storefront glass, staring in. Not the old cashier. This guy was taller, wearing a hooded sweatshirt, and he was smiling. Not like a friendly, "hey there" kind of smile. It was predatory. I bolted toward the back of the store, desperate to find another exit. I found a metal door, no exterior handle, locked. On the floor nearby was dusty two-way radio. I picked it up, switched it on, static. Then a voice crackled through. "You made the wrong stop, Jake." I dropped the radio. How did he know my name? I don't know where the adrenaline came from, but I ran for the front window. Grabbed a bar stool and hurled it at the glass. First hit, nothing. Second hit, a crack. Third, glass shattered just enough to squeeze through. I cut my arm, but I didn't stop. I jumped in my car, started it, and floored it out of there. In the rearview mirror, I looked back. The gas station was pitch black, no lights, no sign, just gone. When I reported it to the New Mexico State Police, we drove for hours trying to find the place again. Nothing. No record of a gas station at that mile marker, no surveillance, no business license, just desert. But I still have the scar on my arm from the broken glass. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, I get emails from untraceable accounts. No message, just grainy photos. Photos of me, standing outside that gas station window from that night. My name is Ethan, and back in early 2021, I was working the night shift at a remote gas station along US 101, deep in the Pacific Northwest. The place was tucked between endless pine trees and creeping fog. A 24-hour stop for truckers and lost travelers. It was around 2:45 a.m. on a Tuesday. Wind howled outside, and the neon lights above the pumps were flickering. I was behind the counter, drinking burnt coffee, when the door suddenly creaked open. A white cargo van pulled up. The rear panel was dented. An older man climbed out, probably in his 60s, heavyset, wearing a torn flannel shirt. His hands were trembling, his eyes wide with panic. He rushed in and said, barely above a whisper, "Please, call 911. There's been an accident, just past the turnoff. He's hurt bad. He might die." He wasn't with anyone. Just had a beat-up two-way radio, like a construction crew might use. He handed it to me and pointed down the road. "Take the dirt path, cross the small bridge. You'll find him." I grabbed the store landline and dialed 911, but I couldn't speak clearly. My words came out slow, distorted, like something was jamming the call. All I could manage was accident, woods, bleeding. Then the line went dead. The man came back to the counter, more calm this time, but off. His eyes were glazed over. His shirt was darker now, something soaking through. He leaned in and whispered, "You have to go. Now." I grabbed a flashlight, shoved a tow rope into my bag, and ran out. The van was still there, engine running, headlights aimed at the tree line. I jumped in my own car and followed his directions. The dirt road was narrow and rough. After a few minutes, I reached a wooden bridge and saw blood smeared on the railing. Then I heard it, a groan. I ran across the bridge with the flashlight, scanning the ground until it landed on a body. A teenager, maybe 17, in a blue hoodie. He was lying in the dirt, bleeding from his neck, eyes wide. "I'm dying," he gasped. I knelt to help, but then my bag shifted and the radio came on. A voice, low, guttural, muffled words, then laughter, ugly, strained like someone holding it in. I looked up. In the trees above us, a second two-way radio hung from a branch, its microphone swaying gently. The kid's gaze locked onto mine. "He's watching you," he whispered. "You shouldn't have come." And then he was gone. I stood there, frozen, as the wind suddenly stopped. No sound, no insects, just static crackling from both radios. I finally managed to call 911 again, this time from my cell. Help arrived fast. The boy was pronounced dead on the scene, but the old man, the van, the radios, gone, like they were never there. Police searched the area. No license plate, no tire tracks, nothing. They marked it as an accidental death, closed the case. They said maybe I got turned around, that I was in shock. But I know what I saw. There's something in those woods, something that listens, something that uses people. And once it finds you, it doesn't let go easily. Since that night, I never take back roads after dark. And when I hear static on a speaker or radio, I don't listen. Because sometimes, just below the noise, I still hear it whisper, "Ethan,